Welcome back to Joe's Math Tools. In our session today, we are solving an equation with fractions involved. And if you're ready, let's get started. In our equation today, we're going to be solving for an unknown variable f. And to solve this equation, I'm going to show you two different methods. The first one I'm going to use is by cross multiplication. So cross multiplication will be the first method that I use. And then after I've done my cross multiplication, I will also show you how you can solve this equation using your LCD. Now the steps are pretty much going to be the same in some sense, and we're still going to arrive at the exact same answer. Okay, so let's look at our cross multiplication. Now for our cross multiplication, I'm going to be taking my 4 in my denominator on the right hand side and multiplying it to my 3f on the left hand side of my equation. So I'll start by doing that first. So 12 times 4 times 3 is 12f all over 2, which is equal to 1. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing with my denominator 2 to the right hand side of my equation. So my 12f will equal to 1 times 2, which will equal to 12f is equal to 2. And now to get our denominator by itself, we're going to divide both sides by 12. And our 12s will cancel, leaving us with f. And 2 divided into 2 is 1, and 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6. So my f is equal to 1, 6. Now at this point here, for those of you who are good with simplifying fraction, you may have noticed that you could have also just skipped all of these steps for the cross multiplication and simply reduced your fraction here by dividing 2 into 12 to get 6. And then when you had your 6f is equal to 1, you could have just divided both sides by 6 and got your 1/6 from here. So for my people who are good with simplifying fraction, remember you can simplify where possible. And then for those of you who aren't, we'll just work it out, but notice that we still arrive at the exact same answer. So now let's look at our LCD method. Now in looking at our LCD, my LCD for 2 and 4 is going to be 4. Now with finding the LCD method, that means I'm going to be changing my fraction to their equivalent form where 4 is their denominator. Now since the right hand side of my equation already has a denominator of 4, I'm going to put that 1 back since I won't be doing any changes to that number. Now with my 3f divided by my 3f halves, I'm going to have to be changing that fraction to its equivalent form where 4 is the denominator. Now we know with the equivalent form, you have to find the number that I multiplied 2 by that's going to give me 4. And the number that I multiplied 2 by is 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. We're going to do the exact same thing with our numerator, multiply it by 2. So 3f times 2 would equal to 6f. And if you notice, we're pretty much right back at this point where we got our 6f in this step here. So you can see that everything is working out to the same thing. The steps are just a little bit different, but the answers are still coming about the same way. And now we're going to divide by 6. Remember, we divide by 6 to get our variable f on one side of the equation by itself. So my f is equal to 1/6. So we just used two different methods to solve one equation. Now for this one, it was easier to work both out on the same page because it was a fairly short equation. But in cases where our equations are a little bit larger, I probably would have to do 2 videos to show you the LCD and then another method. But for this one, it's good to see that we can work out this equation in 2 different ways and we still got our answer of f is equal to 1/6. And now for the most important part, let's check our answer. So we're going to be substituting my f for 1/6, making sure that we put everything back. And now to simplify my numerator, I can divide my 3 by 6. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided into 6 is going to be 2. So in my numerator, I have 1/2 all over 2 equal to 1/4. And now to simplify my left-hand side of my equation, I'm going to do that on the side because this is going to get a bit messy. So for my people who are familiar with our rules for fraction, this is how this is going to work out. What this is simply saying is that my 1/2 is being divided by, now with my fraction in my denominator, even though it is not written, this is where it's going to get a bit crazy. So for my people who are probably taking those upper algebra classes, you may be familiar with this rule, but for those who aren't, I'll go through it with you. In my denominator, my 2 still has a denominator, and I know that sounds crazy, but my 2 has a denominator of 1. So when I set up this fraction in my division, I'm going to be putting my 2 over 1. Now I want you to be mindful that my 1/2 is being divided by 2, because the 2 is the only number in the denominator. So when I take that 2 and change it to its fraction form, this 2 over 1 is exactly still the same thing that I'm going to be getting. So that's why it is written in this form. Okay, so now let's begin simplifying. We're going to apply our rules for dividing fractions, where I'm going to keep my first fraction, change my sign to multiplication, and then apply the reciprocal to the second fraction. So now we have 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is going to be 4, and then so on the left hand side of my equation I have 1/4 equal to 1/4. And we know that once both sides are equal to the same thing, that means that our answer of F is equal to 1/6 is our correct answer. So I hope this video was able to help you, and for those of you who are going to be looking for more algebra videos in the future, I'm planning on loading up a lot more. Algebra is one of those topics that I really love. It's a bit crazy and tricky, but I really love algebra, so I plan to upload a lot more videos for these type of equations. So hopefully we can get the help that we need as we navigate through this wonderful world called math. And until next time, this is Jules Math Tools, where math is made easy.